Hello and welcome back to Media Club's second podcast. Today's topic will be about the death penalty. Before we start, we're going to go around the room and introduce our speakers for today. We will be saying our name, grade, school, which side, and answer the questions. Does Mike Wazowski wink or blink?
Hi. My name is Ashley, and I am in ninth grade. I go to Dimeboro High School, and Mike Wazowski blinks. Oh, I am for the AF side, and we support the death penalty.
My name is Joseph Kim. I go to Lexington Junior High as an 8th grader. I'm also on the affirmation side, supporting the death penalty, and I believe that Mike Wazowski blinks.
My name's Lois Chun. I go to Lexington Junior High School in 8th grade, and I think Mike Wazowski winks, and I'm on the AF side.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I'm a sophomore, and I go to Roland High School, and I'm on the side of against the death penalty, and I think Mike Wazowski winks.
Hi, my name is Woo Chen Kim. I go to Sun East High School and I'm a senior. I'm in the con side of death penalty, and I don't understand the question, but I guess he blinks.
Hello, my name is Daniel Kong. I'm a sophomore and I go to Sunny Hills High School. I will be representing the con side of the death penalty, and I believe that Mike Wazowski blinks.
Hi, I'm Eunice. I'm one of the mediators. I'm a sophomore at Cypress High School, and I think that Mike Wazowski winks.
Hi, my name is Yeri. I'm in 12th grade. I go to South High School, and I think he blinks.
All right, so now that we know everybody, we're going to go right into the debate. So first, we're going to start off with a 3-minute constructive speech where the affirmation will be explaining why the death penalty is right.
The death penalty costs the government less as opposed to life imprisonment without parole. Proponents say despite expenses incurred by the government from imposing capital punishment, death penalty is still cheaper compared to the cost of life without parole. Although there is no contention that the cost of the former is high, life imprisonment is accumulatively higher given the expenses of food, healthcare, and other costs of sustaining the lives of incarcerated individuals serving life.
Contention 2, it deters violence. Capital punishment deters violence, saving lives. Moshin, June 2007. In summary, the recent studies using panel data techniques have confirmed what we learned decades ago. Capital punishment does in fact save lives. Each additional execution appears to deter between 3 and 18 murders. While opponents of capital punishment allege that it is used unfairly against African Americans, each additional execution, deters the murder of 1.5 African Americans. Furthermore, commuted sentences and death row removal appear to increase the incident of murder.
Contention 3, the death penalty is the most moral. The death penalty serves justice. Giving up on the death penalty would mean giving up on justice for crime victims and their families. For those 229 children, 43 peace officers, and 294 of the victims were sexually assaulted and tortured. Having a functional death penalty law will help us protect the public from society's worst crime and bring some measures of closure to the families whose loved ones were cruelly taken from them. Stephen 2017 says, "I believe life is sacred. It cheapens the life of an innocent murder victim to say that society has no right to keep the murderer from even killing again. In my view, society has not only the right but the duty to act in self-defense to protect the innocents."
In conclusion, what we see is that 1, the death penalty costs the government less. 2, it deters violence. And 3, the death penalty is actually the most moral action that we could take. And for all these reasons, we believe that the death penalty should be used.
All right, so now that the AF has presented their 3 reasons as to why the death penalty is right, we'll be hearing from the NEG.
The death penalty has no deterrent effect. In a span of 10 years, nothing has changed. States without the death penalty continue to have significantly lower murder rates than those that retain capital punishment. And countries have started to notice that. All first world countries have abolished capital punishment except the United States, China, Japan, South Korea, and some Islamic states. So our first argument is that innocent people are wrongfully executed. People have to understand that dead lives cannot come back. Once they make a mistake, it is not reversible. According to National Geographic, there is an enormous error rate of 4.1% among people who are sentenced to death. Nationally, at least one person is exonerated for every 10 that are executed. Since 1973, over 156 people have been released from death rows in 26 states because of innocence, showing how many people were wrongfully accused, and because of that, their life was taken away.
Also, death penalty, it is proven that it is not really practical. In many cases, presidents or governors, like who has to execute the decision to kill the criminal, they do not really do it in a lot of cases because they do not want to carve the negative image in them of like killing a person after their term is over. So in many cases, the decision is not executed. Also, in many cases, because criminals who are sentenced to death end up not being dead, a lot of criminals feel like they are not really motivated to not commit crimes because since like even they get sentenced to death, they are not dead. So it doesn't really influence the reducing of crime rates. Also, in a survey held for the police officers of like what method do you think is most effective in reducing the crime rates, they answered that death penalty is the least effective, and like it didn't have any practical effects when they did it.
Our third argument is the civil liberties, which is uncivilized action to kill criminals. And one fact is that life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness violates the right in the Declaration of Independence. Also, it is immoral to kill people even if it's a government decision. In relation to free will, some criminals are suffering from mental illness or having clouded judgment at the time of their crime. It is an added cost to the government and taxpayers' money.
In conclusion, our arguments as to why the death penalty should be abolished are because of wrongful conviction, uncivilized actions, and its impracticality. Thank you.
Okay, so that now we've listened to both sides, we will have a time where each side could ask questions and find holes in each other's arguments. So, who wants to start?
Can you restate how the death penalty is unconstitutional?
According to the Declaration of Independence, which our constitution based on it to write on it, it says it grants the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for all the people, and actually, death penalty, it violates all three categories: life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, because it's killing the person, and we believe that it is not constitutional.
Are you aware of this? How this framework of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness is actually null and void, especially if you're going to violate someone else's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness?
So are you saying that the people who got the victims of crimes already got violated, so the people who killed them should get violated their rights, right?
So essentially, the founding fathers, when they created the Declaration of Independence, when they made this law, they especially said that if life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if those three sets of things, if they violate another person's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, that it should be null and void. It shouldn't be actually preserved under that circumstance, right? What we need to do as a society is recognize that other people's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness can violate each other's, right?
Yeah, but we believe that the criminals have the right to have to decide whether they should they should um, they should have a last decision of like of their life and their of their happiness.
Why do they get to decide whether or not they can go through the death penalty or not if they killed an innocent victim?
We believe that they are also a human, and like they are born as a citizen of the United States, and like just because they cause some kind of crime, that doesn't mean that they should not be treated as human, and they should just die without saying any opinions.
Not only that, but everyone has the potential to change. We shouldn't not give them the right, or at least the chance to do that.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions of your own?
I have a question. So you guys stated that the death penalty is effective and saves more lives. But if even one person is wrongfully convicted, which is the case, then it is failing. So how would the death penalty be effective then?
So I believe that you have this underlying presumption that if we kill one innocent being with this death penalty, that it is wrong and it doesn't work. However, I don't believe that this is necessarily the case.
All right, and that's our time. So now that we hear the questions from both sides, we'll be going into a time of rebuttal from the AF for 3 minutes. So our time will start on the AF's first word.
Okay, so let's go over the negation's 3 contentions. First, they say that they have no deterrent effect and that it actually innocent people are wrongfully killed. However, essentially this is wrong because what we see is that even if first there are many studies that support the saying that like actually 18 murderers are deterred from actually killing an innocent individual because per every person killed through the death penalty, right? We see that it's clearly working and that we see that it clearly works in many societies, and thus it still works through many studies. We've proven that. However, even if this is not to be true, they essentially said that if you kill one person wrongfully through this death penalty, it doesn't work out. However, let's just say that you kill one person, they prove to you that, right? However, this shouldn't be considered because of the fact that even if we kill just one person, the fact of the matter is that we're saving 18 lives for every one person, right? So under a cost benefit analysis, or if we really truly think about it, if we do the math, 18 minus 1, 17 lives. Ultimately, the AF side, what we support is saving 17 lives per every one death.
Also, not having the death penalty is not practical because people who commit the crimes, they should know that if they actually commit these crimes, that they should know that there are harsh punishments for this, and this may influence what they think and what they will actually do, and therefore having the death penalty is more effective than not having it.
Do you guys have any other things that you guys want to say? You guys have a minute.
If somebody's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is violated, it is null and void that they are obviously going against the civil or it. Wait.
So the founding fathers, they essentially state that the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if it violates another citizen's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, it's null and void. We can't consider this to be the foundations of our society, right? And so to say it's unconstitutional is actually wrong because this goes against the founding fathers' will when they write the Constitution. And additionally, even if it's unconstitutional, we see that it's the most moral because it serves justice and it adds intrinsic value to the life of a human being. Thus, because we refuted all their arguments, you should still be going with the affirmation side.
All right, so that was 3 minutes. Now we're going to be having the same rebuttal speech, but instead we'll be hearing from the neg, and just like always, on your first word, we'll start the 3-minute timer. Whenever you guys are ready.
So they stated that even if you're killing one person for every 18 people, it is clearly working, but that would be a violation of human rights. It is stated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that everyone has the right to life, liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. And everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. So even if people are indeed wrongful, it would still be a violation to kill them.
Also, you mentioned that, like even if it's an like killing of an innocent person, it is still worth it because you can save more lives. But I think there's a flaw in there because you're just letting one person die like who did nothing wrong, and you're just letting him die because you can save more people. I don't think that makes sense. What if that one person is like your family or like your friend or someone like that? Then like if that innocent person dies like without doing anything wrong just because it can save more people, like mathematical or something, then I think that's a more problem than actually killing one criminal. Also, you mentioned that it is actually cheaper to just kill the criminal because it can save like more money by like not giving them food or prisons or stuff. Actually, it costs more money because it adds cost to the government and taxpayers' money, as we mentioned. So like it takes more tax by killing those people, and like it is even more impractical, financial wise also. You got anything to say?
Adding on to what you said about how it will cost more money towards the government, since you guys said that it was cheaper life compared to life imprisonment. Like people will feel, even though like it provides like healthcare, it provides them like food and prisons and other things, it's still, people will still feel like guilty, and then like feel like ashamed of themselves. Like, and as we said earlier, we talked about how people can have like mental illness, and then like people can change.
And you guys stated that the death penalty is moral and it is justice. You guys said that victims who have suffered terrible things want the criminals to die, and that it is society's duty to protect the innocents, but society has no right to take the life of another person, which is like what I said before. The majority of the countries, they have realized this, which is why they have banned the death penalty.
Yeah, that's all you have to say.
Okay, so now that we've listened to both sides already, we'll go a second round of asking questions to each other and finding holes in each other's arguments. So, do the cons want to ask first?
Okay. So what do you think about our question saying, like we just said, like it's like killing one innocent person to like save more lives. What do you think if that one person getting killed might be your friend or someone you know? Would you still think it's necessary to carry out the action?
Yeah, actually, we do think that it's right that we carry on the death penalty, because the death penalty, without the death penalty, 18 murders can't be saved. And while we have the death penalty, 18 murders were saved. And even if just one person dies by accident, we're still saving 17 people that could have died.
And make no mistake that we feel remorse for the people who actually got wrongfully convicted and wrongfully trialed and wrongfully killed, right? We're not saying that's good at all. That's the flaw within the justice system, right? And so especially when we talk about how one person dies, what we see is that for every one person, we're saving 17 people. So if we think about this logically, and if we do basic math, 18 minus 1 is 17. The AF still saves 17 more lives than the neg.
Yeah, also, would you rather have one person of your family passing away, and you would still get to have 17 of your family still with you, or would you rather have 17 of them gone and only one left?
I'm still unclear about what you guys are saying by what you guys mean by for like every 18 people, there's like one person that's killed. Could you guys clarify that?
Yeah, so actually we stated in our first speech that 18 each additional execution appears to deter 18 murders, and so you guys mentioned that one person was accidentally murdered or killed through the death penalty, and if we do the math, then 17 people are actually saved through the death penalty.
Actually, there are a lot of cases like innocent people getting killed instead. Like actually since 1973, as you said before, over 156 have been released from death rows in 76 states because of innocence, and actually think in their perspective. Like what if it's you? Like you did nothing wrong, and like you have no chance, and then you get no chance to speak for yourself and like to prove your innocence, and like you just have to die because that way you can save more people mathematically, and even if it's just mathematical, it's not even practical. Like killing yourself wouldn't even save more people.
Yeah.
So
the thing is, the 18 people that eventually died by saving one, they don't have a chance to speak their case. They don't have a chance to actually have a fair trial. They don't have the chance to life, right? And so what we see is that it's either one person dies or 18 people die.
All right, so that was time for our second cross. Now we're going to be going into some summary speeches to summarize what happened in the debate and explain why the AF or the neg won the debate. So we'll continue with the AF side for 2 minutes. Whenever you guys are ready on your first word.
To summarize, the death penalty cost the government less as opposed to life imprisonment without parole, because if they were not on the death row and they were to serve prison for many years, for example like 20 years, the government which gets their money from taxes will have to pay more for their food and their health care and other costs of sustaining their lives.
We also win on because we save 17 lives through the death penalty, and those 18 people don't get a chance to have a trial or anything. They're just innocently killed.
Yeah, and I would like to add on to Lois and what she said. I think this is especially one of our biggest points. Even if you don't believe anything that we said in our debate, even if you don't believe anything that we said in our case, what we see is that we still can cross-apply all their points based on this one fact that 18 people are saved per every one person that gets killed by the death penalty. And even so, essentially what we see is that we're saving 17 people, and they said that you don't have the right to take away another person's life. That's a violation of human rights. It's a violation for 18 people to die, right? That's a violation 18 times, right? 18 fourth, right? Instead of just killing one person, that's just one violation. We have 18 violations on our hands. So essentially what we see is that we win on every single point that they present based on this one fact that we save 18 people for every one person that's killed. Because of this, we can turn their whole entire case. We can essentially make the point that we as a society make the most moral action by keeping this death penalty in our system currently. Thank you.
Okay, now that we listened to the pros of death penalty, we're going to move on and we're going to listen to the final thoughts of the negative side.
So our three main arguments throughout the whole time about why the death penalty should be abolished was because of the wrongful conviction, the uncivilized actions, and it was impractical.
Our points were that first, it's immoral to kill them because they are human and they still have rights, and it is uncivilized to kill those criminals. And secondly, it is not practical. Not only like most of the cases they don't get executed, but also they like it doesn't really reduce the crime rate significantly. Also, our final argument was that many innocent people that get wrongly executed. So, So many people like who don't deserve to get killed a lot, and like if that happens to you or someone you know, it might be very it might be very very I don't know, very
And
sort of sad.
The affirmative stated that the death penalty would actually be saving money, but actually that wouldn't be the case. With the argument that life imprisonment with no parole is more expensive, opponents say that in general, the government spends more taxpayers' money in handling cases of death row inmates. This is due to the length and complexity of trials and the number of defendants that would be hired and the overall process. And they also stated that 18 people would die for every one person that is killed because of the death penalty. But that wouldn't be just, because that one person isn't responsible for killing 18 people. So by technically killing that one person, you wouldn't be saving 17 lives.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that sums up today's debate. Thank you for tuning in on whether we should have the death penalty or not. Thank you, and we'll see you next month.